Oh, live from New York. It's a show that's back from vacation and kicking off predictions week.
Yes.
Oh, it's a huge week, and Bruce on vacation.
I'm done.
Are you here for the whole show?
No more vacations for about 10 months.
10 months. All right, well, that's
That's
bro,
actually,
if
no,
we
you're
get to
overshot
10
it.
weeks, we'll be thrilled. It's great to
First
have you
things
back.
first. We're starting with CeeDee getting paid. Ian Rappaport reporting. 4 years, $136 million, $100 million guaranteed. Rappaport writing he's the second highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, right behind Justin Jefferson. Classic, almost won.
I know, it's so frustrating, bro. So frustrating.
Why an almost?
Because when we picked this topic this morning, we didn't know the deal wasn't done.
Right.
And I walked into Wild's office right when the news broke. For what I've written on my paper, first of all, CeeDee is getting done and getting done soon. 4 years, 135 is where it lands, and then it broke. So it was so. But so here's. But go ahead, ask the question, and then I'll. Sorry.
React.
Sorry. But this is my reaction is. This is why the Cowboys are bad at this, because. I knew, you knew, we all knew that this deal was always getting done. And once it got to this place where every other deal was done this offseason and they had to have them done before week 1, it was always going to be done for around this amount of money, which is why I, with no sources, no connections in Dallas, made 0 phone calls, got it 99.2% accurate, just jotting it down. And I want to show you a quote from Jerry Jones that he gave to Clarence Hill. And unlike Brew, Jerry curses and curses a lot. So there are F-bombs and S-bombs in this that we have redacted. In this article, he drops, I think, 7 F-bombs. So we've taken a few of them out. I have an ordinate, I think he means inordinate, but that's right. I have an ordinate amount of confidence that blank. That if anybody can figure out how to get this blank done, I can figure out how to get it done. There's nobody that could blank come in here and do all the contracts and be a GM any better than I can.
Love it.
Okay. And I'm here to tell you that, and he said this before they got the CeeDee deal done, that's the opposite of true.
Yes.
Like, now, if he gets credit for the draft, I don't find the Cowboys draft well. I don't know that he's doing that, but whatever. But this specific thing, it's actually the opposite of that. Very few GMs would do it worse. CeeDee's been a first-round pick they could have signed a year ago for $27 million a year. He would have been thrilled. They didn't believe in him yet enough, I guess. But then after this year, Brew, they could have signed him earlier for less than this. He was never making more than this. So they cost the offseason, maybe hurt the relationship a bit, and got him at the highest possible price. That's bad. That's a bad job. So that's my reaction, I guess.
Look, we all knew it was going to get done. I still think what's coming next is Dak Prescott. You don't believe that, but I believe Dak will be next, especially after we saw
well, we'll get to
your favorite quarterback last year. Was it 2 years ago he was going to lead us to the Super Bowl?
We'll get into
Anybody can do it in Kyle Shanahan's offense.
Exactly. Go ahead.
But, no, look, I agree with everything you said. If they had just done it earlier in the offseason, you probably would have got him for certainly closer to $30 million.
Yeah.
I think you do it before some of these other deals get done. And now this is what they do, though. They did it with Ezekiel Elliott. They got him done, at least in this case, CeeDee, before the season starts. And like I said, I expect Dak in short order. Because once Jerry won't talk about it, like he wouldn't talk, recently about CeeDee, the deal is getting close. And
that's a good take.
Done.
All right, one question. Take is, and this is really a Greg Jennings take that we did last week, not having CeeDee for the entire offseason is actually going to hurt the Cowboys. And this is what Greg said. It's like the timing and you're in shape. And he released a video like, don't worry, I've been in shape in this high school field. Like, no, that doesn't work. So that's actually, I'm interested in week 1 if CeeDee is conditioned, if they have to basically minutes restrict him because he's not
I feel like
up to
he'll
speed.
be okay, though.
Greg said
Greg knows better than me, but I feel like he'll be fine.
All right, and then the other question, Nick, quickly before we move on to Dak. What do you think the dominoes are? Because we've heard the leaves now fell for CeeDee. What do you think the dominoes are for Jamar, who ended his hold-in?
Yeah.
And Brandon Ayuk, who is, I guess, still on the 49ers. We're kind of waiting to see what happens there.
Well, so the Jamar thing is, to me, he could have taken it harder than he ended up taking it. The fact that he showed up means he's folding his hand to a degree. I think the Bengals are poorly run, flatly. Now, I will see through predictions week. I have massive respect for the Bengals because of the team that they have, but I think ownership does business wrong. I think that their refusal to make an exception for Jamar Chase and sign him as early as possible, which is what they should be doing right now, is going to Cowboys should have exactly right. It is going to cost them a lot of money, but I don't think this has any tangible impact on Jamar except for it raises his price. It just raises his price.
You knew he was going to play. I mean, didn't you feel like? Yeah, I felt like if they don't sign him, he's still going to play.
Then
You're not going to sit out and lose all that.
What's the point of just
to try to pressure him into signing?
I mean, this is, I guess, the point.
And if they don't sign you, then you'll come back and play because it doesn't help you in free agency to sit out a year and lose all that money.
Time off work, buddy.
Oh.
That's the other point. The other point is like, I would rather train on my schedule with my people at my leisure where no one yells at me. And I have a totally good reason for it now, which is you won't pay me. I think like that Trent Williams hates training camp. He's also going to get more money, but you know what I mean? Like I honestly believe that's the answer. Like I think all these guys would skip training camp if they not all, but a lot.
Yeah.
If they
I'm
could.
holding out.
Right, but if you have a legitimate contractual reason to do it, it's like I don't want to. I'd rather work out on my own.
Jamar would hold an idiot. You'd have to show up for work. And
show up for work, but not have to work. Yeah. But you do a lot of days.
I mean, sometimes. Yeah, all it takes.
But go ahead and ask the
Do you
question.
think Trey's 5 interceptions impact Dak's deal?
Can I just go first on this quickly because you already attacked me on Trey Lance? I want to be very clear.
Yeah.
I did not watch North Dakota State. I am not Phil Steele at the Senior Bowl.
We were.
I was not somebody before the draft like, oh my God, Trey Lance is the guy. You guys have, because 2 years ago, I picked the Niners to make the Super Bowl when he was supposed to be the starting quarterback, thought that meant I think he's awesome. When it really meant if Jimmy Garoppolo can go to the Super Bowl with that team, I think literally anybody can. And then it was proven because they went to the Super Bowl that year with their third-string quarterback, who you guys now love, but that's what happened.
He leads
okay, it doesn't mean I'm a huge Trey Lance guy. With that said, I think that this now made it so much harder for the Cowboys to sign Dak, and I don't think they were going to either anyway. Because now, if there is a world that exists where it's like Dak actually really wants to be the Cowboys quarterback, but wants as much money as possible. Yeah. And so if theoretically Trey had this game, all the yards, all the highs, and 0 interceptions, that Dak would have been like, ooh, boy. Okay, yeah, you're offering to make me the highest paid quarterback in the league right now. I'll take it. $56 million, yeah, I'll take it. But instead, he had this game, and Dak now can be like, okay, so no matter what, you have no backup plan.
Yeah.
So I can just push this leverage, hit the open market, and you'll still offer me as much money as possible, and then I'll make the choice. So I don't think they are signing Dak Prescott before this year because I don't think Dak is going to accept anything under $60 million.
I thought 60 or 65.
Well, I think 65 is what he is going to get. I think right now he wouldn't accept anything under 60, and the Cowboys are not offering that. If they had offered that it would be done. So, yes, I do think it impacts it, and I disagree with you guys. They have 12 days to get Dak done. I don't think they're getting Dak done.
Okay, first of all, because I think I speak for Wilds in this, we are not letting you off the Trey Lance.
I picked the Niners to make the Super Bowl, and they made the Super Bowl. That's what happened.
Not with Trey Lance.
Oh, I'm sorry. They made the NFC Championship.
You were like, he broke his leg.
But there is a silver lining in this. Unless they think Deuce Vaughn is the answer, maybe move him to running back. Because Trey looked good running the ball. A little 46-yard touchdown run. But I disagree with you. I think the only way they don't sign Dak before the season starts is maybe you're right on this, if Dak is like, because he knows next year he'll be able to break the bank.
Yes.
And if he's like, I want like 65 million, 63, 64 million now, I think that's the only way it doesn't get done. But I do think the Cowboys will come up to 60 million within the next 2 weeks and get him done before they just did it.
No, he means
before the season started.
They
just did it with CeeDee Lamb. We know they could have signed him months ago for less money for whatever reason. They wanted to wait.
The difference, though, is, don't you think that with CeeDee, as long as they came to a real number around Justin Jefferson, he was taking it. He's not going to be like, because for CeeDee, it's like, okay, if I don't take it, now then next year you're going to franchise, like there's so many, or fifth-year option, then franchise tag. Dak's like, if I don't take it, I'm a free agent in 6 months.
But there are
nothing,
risks,
right?
and I get it that he got injured before he got this last deal. But you could get injured, and maybe it's a different injury. Maybe it's an even more serious injury, and maybe you don't get quite, the money. Or you could play really poorly. What if he goes out there, they win 9 games, miss the play? That's
I
possible.
still think he'll get $60 million.
60, but maybe not the 65. And maybe you end up in a place like, I fully am on board with Dak feeling like, you know what? It's a circus around here. I'm open to going to a Pittsburgh or somewhere where it's strictly football. Even the New York Giants.
With Russ, your guy, if he goes.
Well, we'll see about that. But my point, I get that. But you also could end up, maybe your highest bidder is a team that's not that good.
But then
the future
I
doesn't
guess
look
the
that
Raiders.
right.
How long is his deal going to be?
I mean, he
4 years
would
or
have
3 years?
Devontae, and he would have a strong defense.
3
The
or
Raiders
4.
wouldn't be horrible.
But could you go, because then I have a question.
Okay, so if his deal's, let's say, 4 years, 65, so we're talking about $20 million to play for the Raiders and compete against Mahomes and Justin Herbert. Or you can be the face of America's team. I would sit down and be like, all right, that's worth $20 million.
Okay, but that's
not even doing the taxes.
All the off-the-field revenue that he gets,
just
by being the Cowboys.
I think that might all be true. But I think what you guys are not, that sounds rude. What I believe he's thinking about, or he should be thinking about, that I don't know if you guys are, is this. Is there a universe where whatever the Cowboys last offered to him right now is not still there in 6 months by the Cowboys? Is there a universe where
take it down.
Is there a universe where the Cowboys are like, hey, Dak, we're going to give you 4 years, $60 million a year, and in March they're like, Dak, it's 4 years, $50 million a year now? No, there isn't. So why would he take it now? Why would he, if door number 1 is going to be there? Why would he not wait the 6 months to see what doors 2, 3, and 4 are, even if he has this in his back pocket? And so I understand your point about injury. I get that, but Dak has already. But Dak was very risky on that front before he had ever made big NFL money. So I don't think you get more risk averse when you've already banked $180 million in this league. I don't think so.
I would like to take a few of my take chips on the take
No,
board.
you are not allowed.
A handful of
you
chips.
have been adamant that this was about the Olympic schedule, which ended 15 days ago, that Dak was getting signed but sometime between the closing ceremonies and week 1.
Chiefs Ravens.
Yeah.
I'm going to put one chip on Thursday morning.
Oh, that's allowed.
One take chip. Not huge. On Thursday morning. It's Chiefs Ravens? No, it's not. It's Cowboys Day.
Okay, that is allowed, but I'm letting you know this right now. The moment Cowboys Browns kicks off,
I lose my money.
Fresh off, Casino Monte Carlo.
Yeah, that's okay.
This is what it is. No more bets, and they're swiping all your chips.
They
off
take
the
that
board.
long stick.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the
is
croupier.
that or is that? No, that's the other one.
Well, you're thinking of craps, but they also do it. That's fine. It's the croupier. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Croupier is a person or the name of the stick?
No, the croupier is the person.
Eagles getting ready to play the Packers in Brazil in 11 days, and by getting ready, I mean actually not getting ready at all. No starters played in the preseason. Okay, first of all, what? Second of all, he might have a point. Last 2 years, the guy starts strong, but then it's a supernatural funk.
They haven't ever.
No, the last 2 years they have not. Okay.
So, Brew, do you agree with this decision, and do you think this is going to cure the
And they didn't hit a supernatural funk 2 years ago.
First of all, I don't.
Yeah. So it was
when it comes to the preseason, I don't think there's a right decision. I don't think, like, some teams will play guys a lot, they're starters, and they have a good year or they have a bad year. Other teams don't play, as you just saw. They haven't played guys in the preseason, and they're 13-0 to start the seasons. All right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here. This is not a bad decision. And there's a lot of things to criticize Nick Sirianni about, and we'll get to some of that later. The dude has been successful. I mean, he took a team that had won, 4 games a year before he got there. He developed Jalen Hurts from a guy that most people didn't think could start in the NFL to an MVP candidate. They've been in the playoffs the last 3 years, including a Super Bowl. Like, again, there's a lot to criticize him about, but you can't act like he doesn't have any clue as to what he's doing. So I got no problem with this. And I think what they have been right about is this basically the entire offseason. What an offseason.
What?
They hold on. They signed Saquon Barkley.
For more money than even you were comfortable with.
$13 million.
We did a show that
13.
day, and you said that's a little higher than I would have gone.
No, a little higher, but that's nothing.
Okay, but then what?
It's a lot for a running back. It's nothing in the grand scheme of things. The receivers got taken care of. They're happy.
They were already there.
They added defense. No, but they extended them to make them happy.
Yeah.
And they added defensive players that they needed.
Okay.
You don't like it?
So, no,
I get it from Nick,
hold
but
on.
you're
Listen,
side-eyeing me?
I want to make this clear.
God.
Not that
the supernatural funk is gone.
Okay, not that I had much left.
Gone.
But I'm selling any remaining Eagle stock.
All of it.
Predictions week starts
because they're not playing guys in the preseason.
Because of everything,
Kinda
man.
weird.
Because
they did it the last 2 years.
Yes, and you know what?
Started 8-0 and 5-0.
You know what they didn't have in the last 2 years?
A new center?
3,000-word opus where the kicker is, I think they don't hate each other about that coach and the quarterback.
How many of those stories did we read about the Patriots before they won their last Super Bowl together? A lot.
No, I don't.
A
first
lot.
Of all,
and I'm not predicting them to win the Super Bowl again. I'm just
I don't know that we read a lot of those. Second of all,
Tom Brady and Belichick being at each other's throats. We didn't read a lot of that.
No, that's true. I know.
It's
I
all
see
over the place.
I thought that was mostly in Brady's final
Nick
year.
Sirianni to
Yes,
Bill
but that
Belichick.
was.
I
I also had 5 and then 6 Super Bowls to lean back on as far as the history together. Predictions week starts in 42 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it, but I will spoil some of it.
Oh.
I think this team's missing the playoffs.
Oh, God.
I don't forget winning the division. Let's talk about the offseason for a moment, bro. They lose. They have the single biggest loss of any team in the league. They lose the greatest player in the history of his position. Stop it?
Yeah, stop it. Their offensive line is going to struggle.
I think it will be markedly worse.
So what? That means going from number 1 to top
number
5?
8.
Oh, okay. We can handle number 8.
Okay.
I don't even think they'll fall that far. But if they're number 8, so be it.
Well, I actually don't know that that's true.
Saquon Barkley's been running behind the 28th best offensive line in the league his whole career.
They have of every team in the league, I think they have the single biggest individual loss. The only thing that's close is Aaron Donald. He was the best player on their offense, the guy who called out all the protections, the guy who unlocked the tush push, which was their most valuable play, and the leader of the team. Their big offseason acquisitions is overpaying for a running back and 2 coordinators who in their most recent stop failed. It one and done. Vic Fangio, team revolt, Kellen Moore, all of a sudden the Chargers stink. Like they at least were fine before, but that's weird. They're big off-season defensive additions that Brew likes so much that I like as well long-term are rookies in the secondary. And those guys, that is notoriously difficult. Sauce Gardner did it, other guys have done it, but it is hard to have an instant impact in the secondary. And so they have a bad defense. Last year, all year, a bad defense. A very weird coaching dynamic and uncertainty at the quarterback position. And this is how...
Uncertainty?
Yeah, I am uncertain how good Jalen Hurts is. I think you are too.
No, I'm not. In fact, this year, I'll save it.
Okay,
yeah. Don't spoil it. Guys.
I'll save it.
Told you.
Okay.
It's like Christmas morning. You guys open your presents. Predictions week.
Well, sometimes you're allowed to open a
They're
couple
not
things.
even going to make the playoffs?
NFC is better than people think. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.